Hello. I'm going to continue with opinions and answers to questions that viewers have sent in. If you think I'm saying something incorrectly or you have something to add, please do that in the comments below this video. If you had a top 10 or top 5 things that could change in Thailand, what would they be? I don't know, you're in Thailand. What do you want to change things? You know, I'm the foreigner, I have to adapt to living here. I don't know. Have you taken on new hobbies in Thailand since retiring to fill your time? Well, I make YouTube videos. I try not to irritate my wife too much. She's starting to warm up a little bit more about YouTube and as she learns more about it. Generally, me using the computer has been a source of irritation to my wife in the past because certainly before she learned how to use her smartphone to access Facebook, you know, it was a source of jealousy. She thought the time I was spending on my computer was maybe communicating with other ladies. Who knows? But it was a problem. And I bought her a laptop of her own. She hasn't fully learned to use it yet. When we move in together with the younger kids that are more tech savvy, she's hoping to have them teach her more. Anyway, hobbies. Making videos, I'm interested. I want to try to start, one of my interests is Bigfoot related things, and I would like to do more of that in Thailand, but I have to be, I'm looking forward to get established in a house, at least get my wife to be able to drive, and then be more mobile so that I can try to seek out other stories of tall bipedal type apes. There's one in northern Thailand that I know of that's really only about a 4-hour drive from here, but so far I wanted to try to get there last year. I don't necessarily want to go into the jungle, but I do want to go to the village where, up near the Lao border, where the story came from, and see if I can find locals that would talk with me, hopefully on video, to describe what it is that they've seen or what they think they've seen. So I certainly would like to do more of that. I'd like to do more travel around Thailand, and then later when we can afford it, or when time allows, to do travel outside of Thailand within the region. I'd like to go to Hong Kong. I'd like to take the family to Hong Kong. I always enjoyed that when I was in the Navy, Liberty in Hong Kong. I'd actually like to go to Nepal or the Himalayas. Mark Wiens is another fellow who does a lot of YouTube videos about Thailand specifically and Asia in general. And I think it was he that had a 2-part video of a trek that they took in Nepal, or in the Himalayas at least. And something like that I'd kind of like to do before I get really old and decrepit. We'll see if that comes about. Your wife, Nung, has relatively good English and not difficult to understand. Where did she learn her English? Well, my wife worked a lot as a massage person, and she learned by listening. She was one of 9 children, I believe. One of her brothers has died, but I think she has 8 brothers and one. No, she has 7 brothers and 1 sister. And so anyway, she was the second to the youngest. The family wasn't very rich, didn't have much money. and there was no money for her to go to school. Currently, we're sending the younger daughter to school. It costs $5,000 a month when she's in school. So in the case of my wife, she went to the temple, local temple, for schooling in Thai. She can read Thai. She's, of course, speaks Thai well. She can read Thai okay. She can write Thai, but not maybe so good. When we go to do formal things where you have to fill out a form and whatnot, one of the children will come with us to do the Thai part along with my wife. So her schooling was limited, and then as far as English, she learned by being around other Farangs, just kind of talking. And when I first met her, I think her English has improved at least I think that, for the year and a half that she's been hanging around me. But there's still things that, I've kind of gotten used to understanding, at least mostly understanding. Sometimes it takes me a few seconds to think about what it is, the context of what we're talking about, and then to realize what it is she's saying. And sometimes I have to have her repeat it. She'll say nothing. She'll say, like in the video, with the Yak Yak video where we were just talking, she'll say that they bought, her girlfriend's Farang friend bought her a house, bought her a car, bought her this, and then she'll say nothing. Well, what she means is that they bought this and this and this and this and everything, but she'll say nothing. Well, in English that means nothing, zero. So you have to kind of understand what it is you're talking about. We were talking about something today, and she used nothing again. Well, I've just kind of learned that when she says that, what she means is everything. So when she says nothing, usually I will, in my mind, translate that into everything, because that's what she means. But sometimes there's something that we were talking about where she says nothing and she actually means nothing, zero. So you have to kind of get used to that. Another thing that she does, she'll say my for every connector. So she'll say, our older daughter, what she means to say is our older daughter went to dinner with her friends. But she'll say, our older daughter went to dinner with my friends. Well, it's not my wife's friends, it's my daughter's friends. What she should have said was, our older daughter went to dinner with her friends. So she only uses my. So again, you have to kind of think about what it is she's talking about, and then translate in your mind, does she really mean my, or does she mean her, she, or he, or whatever. So those kind of things. But yeah, she speaks pretty good English. When you get around someone that speaks a Thai that speaks really good English, you can see the difference, but she speaks okay. And like I say, I've been hanging around her for a year and a half, and I've just gotten used, and I hope that she's gotten used to the way I talk. I know sometimes she'll say, and Thais are kind of shy that way. If we're English speakers. We grew up speaking English, and we're used to rattling off stuff pretty quickly. Not maybe as quick as a Spanish speaker, but we still understand what the other person's talking about. We talk pretty fast. Like right now, I'm talking pretty fast. There's times when, with my wife, she'll say that I didn't understand what the hell you were saying because you were talking too fast. But she won't say, please repeat it or slow down, or what. Sometimes she'll say, what you say, but many times she'll just ignore it. And so if you speak too fast English to a person that where English is not their first language, that may cause problems. So I try to remember when I'm speaking to someone who does not have English as their as their native language to kind of slow down, do not use contractions, try to phrase things using more simple English like that. A follow-up to the above and more of a suggestion, it would be real nice to hear Noon talk about Thailand as you do video work, and she can do a voiceover and stay in the background if being on camera is out of the question. Sometimes getting to hear a Thai tell us why something is done the way it is done can be useful. Generally, yes, I would agree with that. Also, generally, that probably isn't going to happen. When we had our Yak Yak session, she did not want to be on videos. That's why it was audio only. That may change in the future. And once we move into our place, I will try, even before, I will try to get more of that, because I agree. It's handy hearing a native Thai speak English and speak about things here in Thailand, at least from their viewpoint. So yes, I agree, and if I can, I will get Noon, or anyone that I can, to speak more on camera, but it may not happen. But I agree, it is nice to hear, you kind of get the rhythms, you get how a typical Thai, at least with the English ability that my wife has, speaks. Next question, what part of Chiang Mai City do you favor most for living if you were to stay in the city? Well, beyond North Gate, beyond the north moat, the north part beyond the north of the north moat, is, in my opinion, cheaper. There's more apartments and maybe a little cheaper. There's apartments all around. The closer into the city or within the old city, within the moat, it's more expensive. Outside, the further out you go, the cheaper it gets. If you get way out, the less stuff there is. But if you're around like we are, I can walk out the hotel. First of all, I can go down below and get something to eat if they're open. Or I can walk out just within a block or two and have a selection of at least Thai food to get and some restaurants. So, you know, we are living here at Smith. We're in the, like I say, it's a square. The old city is a square. We're in the south, out just beyond the moat. And we go to Airport Plaza, which is over by the airport. It's a little further away south. We go to Maya Mall up by Niemenheimen, that's in the north. We go sometimes to a nice guest house restaurant that's beyond North Moat. We go to Night Bazaar, things out on the Ping River, Night Bazaar, Warawat Market, and there's guest houses and hotels everywhere. So, you know, it's just where you want to live. In our case, we've been based here either at Smith Residence for the last year or in the general area, with the exception of 1 month when we lived up near Niemenheimen at the Dome Hotel. One thing, I don't know if it was a problem this year, but 2 years ago when we moved in November, that's a bad time of year to try to find a new place, because it was all, there wasn't as many availabilities. And there wasn't an availability until March of 2015 in our case. So we spent 1 month here, 1 month there, 1 month there. Moving is a pain. So in our case, we sort of like, you know, again, the moat's a square. We like the area that's in the east, south, inside the moat. She has a lot of friends there. That's where she used to work. She's worked all over Chiang Mai, but that's where we go a lot to eat. That's a nice area. There are guest houses you can stay there that are reasonable. There's backpacker places within the moat that are reasonable. But if you want to have an apartment, I would, you know, my friend Mick lives just outside of the moat in the north, kind of the northeast corner. And he himself, he's been there for almost a year, and he's on a 1-year contract. He's looking to maybe move somewhere else. So anyway, Chiang Mai is, after you've been here a while, you kind of develop friends in certain places, restaurants, and if you go to bars, you have certain bars that you like. If you go to the mall, you have certain malls that you like. So, kind of depends. What confuses or annoys you the most about Thailand and the way of life there? Confuses me or annoys? Well, I've said about annoys, certainly the traffic. And I actually could probably drive here. As far as confusing, I can't really think of anything that right off the top of my head that confuses me. There's probably not surprises, but there's things that you newly discover about living here. There's a saying, TIT, this is Thailand, T-I-T, this is Thailand. Whenever something happens, it's TIT, this is Thailand. You're not in the States, you're not in England, you're not in Australia, you're in Thailand. Go with the flow. Do the banks there charge reasonable fees for their services? Some examples would be good. Well, I told about the ATM. Currently, every time I do an ATM withdrawal is 200 baht fee, and Bank of Bangkok, they all allow you to do that, but many of the banks are 10K baht limit. The light blue bank that I used for a long time was 20K baht limit, and then I discovered that Bangkok Bank allows, you have to key it in, but Bangkok Bank allows 25K baht limit. So I try to pull as much money as I can because it's going to cost 200 baht fee. Now I get reimbursed that, but still I pull as much money as I can. So anyway, ATM withdrawals, 200 baht currently. And that used to be 180 when I first came here. And it was 150 before I came here. So that's going up. The prices today, we ate at P.I. I would pronounce it P.I., but my wife said P.I. A little restaurant on Soi 1 that we go to. They had raised their prices about a month ago. Prices are going up here. The value of land, they call open land is called a garden here. That's going up. There's tons of building going on here. My son is in a perfect business. He's trying to start a business. He had been working for someone else doing building remodel, and now he's beginning to go off on his own, and our townhome is his beginning of his new business adventure. I think he'll do quite well. There's a lot of building going on here. Housing, business, whatever. The value of land is increasing. In my case, I so far have only been getting money out of an ATM, and 200 baht fee is charged at this end, which is reimbursed by my Charles Schwab Bank. And then, like I say, we transferred, back in January, we transferred 2 million baht, wired 2 million baht from my Charles Schwab investment account to my wife's Bangkok bank account using the domestic New York routing number for Bangkok Bank branch. And that was a $25 wire fee charged by Charles Schwab, which got reimbursed to me, and a 500 baht fee at the Bangkok Bank end that did not get reimbursed. So those are the fees I know about. There are a few banks. Some of the banks here do have savings accounts where they pay interest. I'm not familiar with that. I think for the most part the accounts that my wife and my kids have are like a checking account. Only they don't have checks. They don't use checks here. This is a cash society. They do bigger places, bigger restaurants, hotels, shops that sell stuff, accept credit cards, but you're going to pay more money for that privilege. So basically this is a cash society. The ATMs here mostly spit out 1,000 baht bills, and sometimes you give it to a little cafe owner, they don't have change. Maybe they'll have to go across the street to change, get change to give you, because you're maybe getting a couple of 100 baht worth of food and you've given them a 1,000 baht bill, and it could be a problem. So anyway, it's a cash society, in my case, I get the money from an ATM machine. In your early videos, the heat would really knock you quickly. How long have you found it has taken before you are far less prone to suffering the effects of heat? I think I am becoming more used to the heat. I'd answered this earlier, might have been in a previous video. I mean, you don't really notice it, that you're changing, but I think I am better at dealing with the heat. It's still hot. Today it was hot when we were out. My wife's been out walking around all day. I wear short pants. I wear, right now I'm wearing kind of knockoff Croc type shoes. They were 250 baht. They got good rubber cushioning. With a sandal, sometimes I'll bang my toes. And with this kind of a shoe, you don't bang your toes. So I wear this. These were 250 baht. They last about 5 months, 6 months, and go buy another pair. And I wear socks. I always have, I enjoy wearing socks. You don't have to here. Many people don't. So that's what I'm wearing currently. Before these, actually this is the second pair of these that I've had. So before this, I had a really good sandal. It was open toe, but it was a really nice sandal. It was also inexpensive, kind of a rubber, fake rubber makeup, but you know, they wore out. I wore them about, those lasted about 10, 12 months, but they wore out. And I haven't been able to find any other ones like that. They have a lot of sandals here, and I bought one pair and they slip off my feet, so anyway, I've been wearing these. I've had good luck with these. And like I say, they kind of enclose your foot so you can, and they're very cushiony. So doing a lot of walking, it's easier on me. About the heat. So, you know, you learn to deal with the heat. Like I say, I have these towelette things that I use, wipe the sweat off. Some people carry a little rag or a towel, small dish towel with them to wipe the sweat. And then over time, you just get more used to the heat. I have seen people that have been here a long time. They're not so bothered by the heat, Franks. Maybe I'll get that way. Right now, it still bothers me. But, you know, you just kind of keep on trucking. And like I say, you go out in the morning when it's cooler, come back, stay in the hotel room, or at least be someplace where there's a fan, and then go out in the evening. I need a little bit of airflow. If I'm in a hotel, if I'm in a restaurant, like downstairs, it's an open air restaurant, but if it's hot, I'll start sweating. They have ceiling fans, big ceiling fans that they can turn on, and just that little bit of air movement will help me. Or in a cafe, if they'll, you know, turn on a fan, even if it's one that's moving, that only occasionally blows the air in your direction. A little bit of airflow helps me. If I get into a situation where there's no airflow and it's hot, I'll start sweating immediately, or within short order. Can you find good quality clothes to fit a Westerner at reasonable prices in Chiang Mai? Well, the prices are very reasonable. Finding stuff to fit, especially if you're larger, is another issue. I wear size 13 shoe. I have lost some weight, but I'm still probably 44, 46 waist. I'm in the States, a 2X t-shirt here, 3X, 4X sometimes. The sizes vary a lot here, and they usually don't give receipts, and they don't allow returns. So if you buy something, you own it. Now, having said that, the prices here are fairly cheap. There's also a slew of tailor shops. You can go in and have clothes specially made for you, and it isn't that much more expensive. It is somewhat more expensive than buying off-the-rack clothes at a mall or one of the Thai markets. But you can go have clothes made that do fit you, hopefully. So, you know, I mostly wear t-shirts. I have a few shirts, and you know, like my son bought me What did he get me for Christmas? He got me a T-shirt, kind of a collar, button front, not a T-shirt, that I do like. My wife's home. That I do like and fits. And he also got me a pair of shorts that are too small.